What's up, guys? It's First Man here. Today we're going to be talking about the male advantage. Okay, none of this. That was quite the nightmare. My everything doesn't want to work. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about adjusting camera settings. So, I was doing my daily thing, woke up, workout, all that normal stuff. It was good. It was good. I had to run to a client, customer, whatever you want to call it, to pick up some product, not drugs. So as you do, as a man on the Ligma male grind set, you instead of listening to music while you're in the car, because that's a waste of time, you could be getting educational, right? So listen to some First Man, and there's a video. I forgot the name of it. I'm gonna look it up. It was Men Live One Life Event Away from Destruction. So, it's a First Man video. You gotta listen to it for a while. For you dopamine dependent fucks, you couldn't watch it, because that's just what happens, right? So, wow, I forgot to record. It's like I haven't made YouTube videos in a while using a computer, because normally I use a spatula. Anyway, we were watching this video, and again, First Man, I don't think you dopamine dependent fucks could sit there and listen to it, right? Much like my videos, because I don't feel like editing, and you don't need stimulation. Don't take that the wrong way. Anyway, watching First Man, he's talking about you live one life event away from destruction, right? So basically, like, you got not enough money in the bank, your car breaks, you're fucked. You're with some girl, you're fucking doing the do, you get her pregnant, you're fucked, right? So, like, basically, that's a idea that I've had for a while, right? Like, that most people are very bad with finances. Like, not to toot my own tutor, as I say on the channel, but I have the equivalent finances of, I believe it was like a 30-year-old. I forget what it was, and that was like years ago I looked at it. I'm probably higher now, maybe lower, you never know. Bad financial decisions, that's what your boy is known for. Anyway, it gets you thinking. One thing that he put in perspective was, he said, don't buy something unless you can afford it 10 times over. Well, shit, I wish I could do that, because then, like, yeah. I mean, I don't wish. That's the thing. Like, you live in a society of consumerism, right? So it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little down today. Let me purchase fucking glow-in-the-dark headphones for my epic gamer setup, right? I mean, this whole room and my whole previous identity of Skilliv basically lived around consumerism. I could pan the camera, which I'm not going to do because I have the focus set and all that, to this fucking, like, computer over here, dude. I spent $2,000 on that shit back when I was making, like, maybe $4,000 a year, maybe. Like, dude, I spent half my fucking yearly salary on a fucking computer. Like, that puts things into perspective. We're not going to talk about the poor financial mistake. I'm moving the camera, fuck it. That is that car. I was able to leverage it because I'm an entrepreneur. I was able to leverage that into a business. Exhausted Customs, check us out. We do some pretty cool shit. Nonetheless, I'm bad with money. And a part of this channel is not only is it, oh yeah, we're gonna make videos. Maybe you can get big on the internet, Dan. Holy shit, another income source, another revenue stream. Okay, no, but like one of the points is I believe journaling is something that's very helpful and healthy. I have journals. That's for my business. That's for the gym. That's for my other business. That's for my other business. And rando, because I don't use it that much. The other business is kind of smaller. And then I got the lessons. This is the Bible, the Ligma Male Grind Set. The Book of Ligma, right? I don't know why I'm using Ligma. I just think it's funny, because it sounds like Sigma, but you're not Andrew Tate, so top G. Anyway, I think journaling can be very healthy. And this is coming from a dyslexic fuck who absolutely despised English reading and writing. And here I am, talking out of the side of my mouth in front of a camera. Nonetheless, this channel, recording these videos, I think is a healthy way to get the same thing done, right? So, like, journaling, you're writing your thoughts down on paper, you can review them, see where you're at years ago, see what you're thinking, you can dwell on those thoughts you're having at the time. But I'm doing that in video format. It's a log, but with video. Some may call it a vlog. So this got me thinking. I don't like talking about money to people. Like, my best friends don't know my income. The internet certainly fucking doesn't. But I'm gonna do that, right? So I'm not gonna give you exact numbers, but he said 10x. I can't do that. I have rent to pay, and I don't make enough money at my 9 to 5. I do have other income streams, but they're spontaneous, I guess you could say. They're not like, oh yes, you're gonna get a paycheck of $1,500 every 2 weeks. Like, it's not like that. It's like, oh, you wanna make money, dude? You gotta put in the work. You gotta advertise. You gotta sell your product, right? So that's how those work. And I've been very blessed, and they've been very gracious, if that's the word I'm gonna use, to me, right? Like, I've had quite a bit of business, and this year, the freaking shop, dude, Exhausted Customs, check us out, www.exhaustedcustoms.com. Shop's been doing great, and we are sitting here at February 17th, right? So, not to toot my own tutor, but I've been pretty blessed with that. I need to stop saying toot my own tutor. I just think it's fucking funny. Anyway, this is you guys, as in like the 4 people who are going to watch this, are my accountability partner, right? So let's just throw some hypotheticals. I'm not saying I'm following the 10x rule exactly, but we're just gonna say $200 a month, which happens to be my rent. So we're gonna say $400 a month. So we'll skew the numbers a little bit. It's obviously not the 10x. I don't make $8,000 a month, right? So that kind of throws right. Hold on, let me double check the math. Let me make sure that makes sense. My bad. I don't make $4,000 a month. That's what I meant to say. Quick maths. Anyway, this microphone is chopping up half the screen. We're gonna move it a little bit. You still gotta see it though. So when I go real nice and close, it makes the funny haha. So that's my goal. I'm just gonna be honest. It's new year, new me. It's a good time to reset. Fuck that, dude. I already failed like 10 times over. I spent the first day in 2023. I spent $3,000 on a motorcycle. Was that financially smart? Fuck no. Do I regret it? A little bit. But it'll pay for itself in theory, because 100 miles a gallon is pretty freaking cool. And if you add bitches into the equation, it's priceless, because bitches love motorcycles. I'm kidding about that. It was a fucking mistake. And to be quite honest, I probably if now that I've had this new mindset, it's a mindset, brother. Now that I've had that, I've come to the realization that I should probably fucking sell my car, because that's $20,000 tied up in whatever. I've been blessed to the fact that I didn't finance it, because we live in a society where everyone finances their shit, right? But I didn't do that, because I've been pretty blessed throughout the years to have the working mentality, and that's probably where I'm at now. Like, the reason why I'm at where I'm at now is because of that mindset. But I was able to buy it in cash, not the flex. However, because it's my business and because it's good advertising, in fact, I just got 3 jobs after off of just driving my car to the local auto parts store or the gas station, right? It's gotten me business. So, is it worth $20,000 at that point, even with the business? No. Am I a stubborn son of a bitch? Yeah. So, moving forward, especially for this year, I'm going to try. Again, my situation is a little weird because I don't have like a fixed, you get paid X amount per week because you work this many hours per week and vacation and blah. No, I have multiple income streams, right? So that skews those numbers a little bit. So we're gonna throw out the we're just gonna be very conservative because I'm trying to save money. I have some potential buy-ins, which we can go into later, that I would like to do. But we're gonna be conservative, and we're gonna say $400 a month, $200 of which is used on rent. So therefore, $200 a month. And that's kind of crazy, right? Because, as a part of this whole mindset, grindset, sigma, ligma male, right? There's the aspect of like dopamine and pleasure and blah 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 activities and You can't give yourself too much pleasure because then it's too easy, which I agree with, right? Like, that's why I quit fucking video games, and that's why I quit, like, YouTube that's non-educational, right? It's going to be tricky, right? Because, like, especially, I haven't ran the numbers in a while, but this is when gas was cheaper, but also I was going to, like, car events all the time. I was filling up every week, about $60 to fill up. Now, the price is more expensive, however, the frequency is definitely not as much. I honestly can't recall what it is. I'm sure I can pull up some emails or like whatever receipts and figure it out. But let's just say it's every 2 weeks, right? Still, that's 100 and like at let's just say 60 again, a fill up, right? That's $120 a month. So out of 400, we have 200 going to rent, 120 going to gas. What the fuck am I left with, bro? That's nothing. And you could just be, oh, quit the challenge, quit the challenge. Okay, but now to segue back to what I had said before about, money and situations and all that, I had an opportunity very recently to spend $75,000 on a business venture. That's a lot of fucking money for a 22-year-old. We're just going to say that. However, I'm running the numbers and it's like, oh, well, if I only spend $4,000 a year, which is $400 a month, then I make X amount per month, per year. That means I could have done it in like fucking 2-3 years of savings, especially with all these other income streams. And I'm sure, like, if the fire was lit under my ass to do it, I'm sure I could have made it happen. I still might. I have a year to make this decision. And I want the shop to blow up. Not physically. I mean, I could make a lot of money from an insurance claim, but we don't do that on the Skill of YouTube channel. We got to find a new name. Nonetheless, it bites you in the ass. And this is where it comes into the mindset of, like, there is all these opportunities. You can hop off the train here. You can hop it off there. Again, using a first man thing. Stick or twist. We'll explain that in another video. I don't have time. We're already 14 minutes, 20 seconds in. But there's like little things like, oh, could I invest $200 in Ethereum here? Yeah, but how often are you going to do that? And it could go down. And like, oh, like there's so many different areas of thinking coming from different directions and angel devil on your shoulder, whatever. It gets tricky. However, if your main priority is saving, then I think you can, make a lot more of those decisions. Like, dude, I'm sitting here thinking, with the last crypto bull run, I broke even about. A lot of that's because it was my first run. I didn't learn all that shit. But, like, it goes into the what ifs. Oh, if I would have invested $2,000, or, if I would have invested, like, $15,000 into Ethereum versus $2,000, I could have made $200,000, right? Like, it comes down to those things. But, it's always one of these things. Like, business expenses. Could I have, like, something we do is powder coating, right? This is my next microphone for the next video, right? This is a powder coat sample, Could I have done wheels and tires sooner if I had the upfront cash to buy an oven? Yeah. Would that have made me money sooner? Yeah. Did I have the money? No. It was tied up in fucking bullshit, right? So as of right now, considering those facts, let's just say, written in stone, not to circle back yet again, written in stone, $400 a month, 200 gas, 200 to rent, 120 to gas, right? And that's what's scary, right, is I do make a little bit more than the average. I have different income streams and all that. And my rent is fucking cheap, let's be honest. Like, that's cheap in comparison to other things. I gotta loop the video real quick. Hold on. That was loud. Alright, so, yeah, I am a little bit better off than that because I do have the safety net of parents. This is not my fucking house, right? And that's why it's so cheap. So that gets a little bit scary for the average fellow, but even for me, dude, like, fucking $80 a month to spend on whatever. I spent that yesterday buying product for my shop. The issue I have currently is my shop and my expenses right now are tied into one because the shop doesn't flip enough of a profit, but it's getting there, and that is something I plan on doing this year, is paying myself off. For full transparency, the shop owes me about $4,800 at the moment. I invested way more. It's done a good job of paying it back. However, 2022 could have been more profitable than it was. Mostly because I was fucking lazy. And I'd rather jerk off and play CSGO like I like to say in these videos than work in the shop. I didn't do that last year. I'm much better off than I was in previous years, but I was still fucking off doing shit that wasn't actively, bettering myself or making money. So this is the balance, right? And if it comes to like a big expense, like, oh, you're going to purchase this, you got to purchase a suit for this wedding you're going to. All right, I got to know in advance, right? So I can save those $80. You save up a few months, you can purchase that. So that's the goal right now. I'm going to try to cut down on how much I travel. I really need to crunch the numbers. You know what? I'm going to crunch them right now. You're going to watch me crunch some freaking numbers. We're recording the screen. All right, calculator. Boom. 8 miles a day to work times 2. Wow, Jesus, I'm already typing things wrong. 8 miles times 2 to work. That's 16 miles a day, right? And let's just say 4 days a week, which is what I do. 4 days a week, 64. All right. It's times 4 weeks in a month. 256 miles, right? My car gets 300-ish miles to a tank, right? So if I just went to work, no other trips, I could be spending $60 a month in gas. That gives me an extra $60 of playing room. 60 plus 80 is a number. No, it's that's an extra $120 worth of money that I could spend, right? So right there is something. I go out for social settings, right? Like I go to the club. I spend $5 on parking. I'm blessed in that sense that I don't have to get drunk to talk to women, and I have friends I ride with. However, to get there is 40 minutes, which is 20 miles. So you add that once a week, you add 20 miles on, boom, we're already more. And I do that, unfortunately, more than once a week. So starting now, this gets into a thought I've had for a while, which is monk mode. 2023. Oh, no, he said the word monk mode. He's going to cut everything off. Yeah, that's the plan. I want my business to succeed so much that I am willing to cut everything out. I have 2 phones, right? We got the business phone. We got the fun phone. I just got the fun phone, spending more money than I should be on it. Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm locking it in a safe for a few months. Maybe a month. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out. That way, there is no distractions, and I only have the business phone, which, for full transparency, the most fun I could probably have on there, I have YouTube because I listen to stuff while I'm doing boring shit, and that way I can get my mindset up, right? Look, there's First Man. Oh my God, we're learning. The only other thing on there is Instagram, which probably shouldn't do, but the only accounts that are logged in are both my businesses. Like right now, you're seeing Exhausted Customs, right? So, and I follow not that many accounts, only customers of mine. So really, am I going to have that much distraction? Yeah, maybe for like 5 minutes a day while I'm taking a shit, right? So that helps a lot. There are other things. Obviously, you can't cut everything out of your life because shit's out there and around you, but it helps, right? So monk mode 23. This is the plan going forward, right? We're gonna get the spending down. One area I can cut that down in is travel. So less going out and having fun. Like, yeah, it's good. It's good for me. It's not as destructive per se as sitting here playing games. However, it costs a little bit more. I'm not going back to fucking games because I could tie up hours that I could be making money or bettering myself into a fucking computer game. So I'm going to have to learn to, you want to have, this weekend, right? I'm about to leave in a few minutes to go to a club. I've just talked about not going, but we're doing it. So add 20 miles round trip. That's going to be 40, so that puts us at whatever the fucking history was. So that puts us at 300 miles for... So that's one tank. We're now at one tank. If I just drive to work, and that's the only thing I do this weekend is drive to the club, right? However, tomorrow night I was invited out to a friend's house. Again, another let's just say 18-ish miles round trip. And then Sunday I was invited to go out to Washington D.C. That's a few hundred miles, right? Not out of my pocket. Still, I would feel bad having a friend, drive and me not pay for gas. So I'm gonna throw a few bucks. Except I'm not, right? Because I'm not going. I have to learn that you can't have all these stimulations. You can't be doing all this fun shit all the time because that's how you used to live your life, right? My life used to be, you put in a few hours at work, you get home, you play fucking video games. You're supposed to do school, you're not. That's what I did, right? So I lived the game. So I lived for fun. And when I couldn't do that anymore, I was miserable, right? But I got over it. So where I'm at now is I can actually, I'm much happier. Like, this is something we talked about in the skill of retrospective. I'm much happier in general, but I'm not actively pursuing happiness, right? Like, I was actively pursuing happiness by doing, like, gaming-seeking behaviors like I was in the past. However, that then shifted to the car scene because that's what I was in, and now it's shifting to, like, this, these group of friends. Let's go snowboarding last week, which I did. Let's go do this trip. Let's go do that trip. Let's go to Virginia. Let's go to... And I'm not saying those are bad things. However, when that happens all the time, dude, you're spending fucking hundreds of dollars you have, but you shouldn't have, right? So, if I do this save thing, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for this year. The few extra bucks I make here and there, like whether it's a little bit of overtime here or a little bit of shop income there, I'm going to pocket that as well. Most people will be like, oh, well, that's your incentive to work harder. Like, that's your incentive to work harder because then you can, have more, then you can have more play, right? I do agree with that, but I'm not going to do that just because I want to make it hard on myself. Because I believe comfort is a killer. And if I'm comfortable, like, oh, I want to buy a new TV for my room. So I'm just going to put in a few extra hours in the shop and I can buy that. Right? Like, yeah, that could be good if it's like a driving factor and motivation. But I already have the motivation to put in those hours in the shop. So I'm just going to pocket it, right? Because how could it hurt, instead of taking home X amount of money per year, I'm taking home double that. Right? Because then when this opportunity, like, opportunity like this does come up, like, let's say this $75,000 opportunity, right? Let's say that happens again. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not saying, like, he has that much money, he's going to spend it. But let's say it happens again, right? Instead of having $75,000, I have $150,000. Whoa! Dude, he could do that twice! And he could make even more money back! Oh my God! Right? That's the thought, right? So then if something bigger happens or, I do need to do this business expense that I was talking about of $75,000, but Bitcoin's looking awful spicy right now, then I can be like, boom, 75,000, boom, 10,000, whatever it is. Not saying I have that, not saying that's going to happen anytime soon, but those are just numbers that I was thinking of, so I'm going to throw them out there. So that's, going forward, that's what I'm going to do. Cut back on expenses, which means cut back on fun and times I hang out, which then in turn means I have more time I can put in the shop, which is making more money, or if it's not in the shop, reading or researching or doing this shit, right? Because it's bettering myself. So is it going to suck? Yeah. It's going to take a little bit getting used to, but give it 30, 60 days, be a part of the new life, right? That's why you cut all this shit out. That way you can just focus on that making a part of your life, in my opinion. A lot of people go to more extreme, they go less extreme. That's what I'm trying to do. So, cut back expenses, save a fuck ton. That starts now, no matter what. And the expenses are just mean that I have a little bit of extra playing room. Save. Cut back expensive. That gives me a little bit of extra playing room, a little bit more buffer just in case, like, I need I just did, I need an $80 drill bit for the shop, and then I can afford it, right? It's not that I can't afford it, but, like, the whole point behind this is, like, if I get into that position where, I'm one life choice or life event away from destruction, right? Like, not saying I fuck bitches. I may pretend like I do. I may have, lost all that weight so I could, but I still don't. Right? So, I don't have that concern, but, like, my car blows up. What am I going to drive to work? Oh, I'm going to have to buy a new car. That's a few grand, whatever. That's why you save now so you can invest later. And, not to copy first, man. Again, it's just that's the content I'm consuming right now. Save that shit for your 30s, dude. Men age nicely. So, you don't have to go and fucking get all the money now and settle down now. You can do it later. Does that mean, that means I can sit down and, play fucking Call of Duty or text all day or whatever? No. If you can fucking push it now, that just means you have even more for later, right? It's the act of delayed gratification, not the copy Hamza, whatever. right? But that's the thing. Like, we can go. You know what? We're going into that later. We're going to talk about this. Yeah. So that's the grind set mindset going forward. We'll see how it treats me 2023. In theory, if the business starts going better and I save all this time and I can invest in things to make the business make more money or run more efficiently, in theory, that means, oh my God, next year, instead of taking home $400, you can take home $800 a month. That means you're making twice the money, but then you have even more wiggle room. It's a compounding effect, right? So then twice the money goes into the bank account, but also twice the money goes to how much you do, right? So if something big comes up, like you have to spend all your money now, you can do it with a lot of, forethought and all that. But at the same time, you also can oh, okay, I put in the time last year, so now I can buy that new shirt, so I can get bitches at the club. Or, oh, you put in the time, so now you can invest in fucking fixing the hairline. Which I'm doing now, but I need to assess that, right? Because by the time, Amazon Prime, I don't have any streaming services. I dropped those last year. But Amazon Prime fucking finasteride for the hair loss. Fucking, the protein supplements I get in the, monthly and blah, 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 whatever. It adds up. So I need to reassess and reevaluate. And it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of spreadsheets. But I think I could do it $400 a month, $200 rent, whatever for gas, I can get those numbers down. Great. And then, then I have, that much money to then spend on, divide between supplements or medication or whatever, right? Is this hard mode, extreme mode? Fuck yeah, it is. Am I going to do it? Yeah, I think it would be good for me. Because I think challenge and discomfort is what makes you get your shit in gear, because it forces you to do it hard, go harder. I mean, it's not like I'm going to run out of money if I spend over, I'm going to be in debt if I spend over $400 a month. But I think if you structure these things out and that's the fucking rule, you don't break that fucking rule, right? You do that, I think it would be absolutely insane, right? Because then it's giving me that drive, you have to work harder so you can pocket more, so you can get this year over with, so you can compound even more for next year, so you can make even more the year later in the year, later in the year, later. Next thing you know, you're 30 and you're taking home fucking $800,000 a year, dude. That's crazy. All right. Enough talking about money, enough talking about finances, but I believe it's an important part of this. It's an important part of this, right? So, you're trying to better yourself, trying to improve yourself. The first thing you do is the fucking gym. The next thing is money, right? Because the gym, you have to hold on to those things. You have to get yourself in gear because it helps with all these other aspects of life. You're more respected. You can do better sales because you look better, blah, 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 right? Nonetheless, gym, fucking money, and then you do all these other little niche things, right? So I kind of went out of order with some of this shit in my personal journey, but we're getting the fucking finances together now, right? That's what we're doing. Rant over. This was supposed to be short and just a little, message to yourself, Dan. Don't spend money. You're gonna save all your money so you can spend it in the future. But now this is a long video, so thanks for watching. Have a good one. Fuck you. Oh, I hit record when I didn't want to.